Welcome back to Electric City Plays. I'm Andrew, and this is...
And I'm Richie.
And today we're going to do a breakdown of Twilight Imperium 4th Edition.
Absolutely. We played this game a week ago, maybe-ish.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fun. It was my third or fourth time playing.
My second time.
Your second time playing. And it was a really fun experience. So we're going to break down the live stream of it and kind of hit the high points of what happened over around a 9-hour game.
Yeah. Which I do want to drop in a point of the first time I got to play with our team, it was 16 hours?
It was
16-hour gameplay.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was insane. So, dropping it down to 9 hours, it's crazy to see how, like we emphasized, like, a handful of things of, like, hey, we're going to focus on, like, try to take your turn as quick as you can. We did add the timer, so I feel like the timer was a really big game changer for us.
Yes.
And
we are playing at a full 6-player count. So
yes.
that, I get there's comments online about playing TI4 in like 3 hours, and we get it. We're not there yet. And then also, with a full 6 players, for us, it's not really feasible. So, yeah, we can probably shave an hour or two off of even a 9-hour game.
Yeah.
And a 7-hour game, that still feels like you played a big, epic fight for the galaxy kind of game. So that's where.
And we turn it into like an entire day event. So we have like breakfast, lunch, and we had dinner planned, but we actually we beat the game before dinner.
We did beat the game before dinner, and our host did not win. So
yeah, that's fair.
No, he was very gracious.
So, yeah, well, without further ado, I'd say good to get into it.
Good to get into it.
Yeah.
We're going to shift some screens around, and... Oop, look at that. It has magically appeared. You guys are about maybe 45 minutes into the setup of our game so far.
Yeah, I'll go down here.
Okay. You can see from this view... You can see we have myself is in the red, and my special ability was I'm blanking on my name. I called myself the people from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, you were the turtle people.
I was the turtle people from Monsters, Inc. And my special ability was when myself or someone else activates the diplomacy, I can take over another planet that's in the same system or an adjacent system for free. Just put a control marker on it. And then the other cool thing I can do is when an agenda is revealed, I can quash it. Just discard it and draw another one. So that was my special ability.
And that was every time an agenda was revealed, you could choose to do that?
Every time an agenda was revealed.
I'm surprised you didn't just shut down every agenda.
You just draw another one, though.
Oh, that's fair.
So.
Well, technically, you could just keep on quashing until.
I think it said the first time.
Oh, okay.
I think it did say that. I could be wrong though, and I could have played that completely wrong. Going counterclockwise, we have Andrew in the green.
Yep, here I am. I was the Embers of Muat, and we got a War Sun. So that was, I'd say, a pretty good game changer because it made me a threat straight out the gate.
Yes.
However, that did make me have to focus pretty early on with trying to capture other planets, and I had to focus on like actually getting an army spun out because like I will say no one wanted to touch me at first because I did have the War Sun. That was like a big threat. And I know like a lot of forums and stuff say like use that threat as much as you can early on so that like people don't want these hands. So
very cool.
I think that really worked out for me.
Absolutely. Going clockwise from there, we have purple. We have Chris, and he did what? He did technology stuff.
Yes. Chris was the fish people, and so they got a -1 to all combat rolls.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why he didn't want to do combat, and that's why some like side table thing. He had made a deal with me of like, hey, can you run like distraction for me, and try to pull the aggression towards you so that people don't want to attack me. So he got really lucky that on both sides of him, no one wanted to attack him. I was tempted to just come smoke him and just come take those 7, 8 something planets off of him. I didn't do that.
But you did not do that. Clockwise from there, Noah is playing the extraterrestrial.
The ghosts.
The ghosts. They sit on their own little nebula over there and can teleport into our galaxy. And from what I remember, they had a +1 to movement if they started on a warp gate kind of a thing. Or a wormhole, I think it's called.
And all wormholes are A's and B's.
Perfect. Which is going to be important when certain agendas are revealed later on in this game. So he definitely was able to move pretty fast. Well, he needed to move pretty fast because he starts from so far away. And then he needed to be very diplomatic in how he approached spreading across the board. And lastly, Alex is playing the, you said OST, he could drop people?
Yeah, so he was like the people of Soul, so essentially the humans, and he had something called, or I don't know what it was called actually, but it was like the Halo ODSTs, the Orbital Drop Shock Troopers. So as long as he controlled the space in a system, he could just drop troops down onto the planet. So
that was the special abilities. Oh, and then yellow, we have Skylar, and he is playing the scavengers. I think he's actually the humans, right? His race was the... Yeah. Or was Alex humans?
Alex was the humans. Okay. Skylar was their outlaws. Oh. So all the outlaws from all of our people would come to them, and...
He was the pirates.
Yeah, he was the pirates.
And he wanted to take resources.
Yes.
He didn't have a lot of commodities, but whenever there was a deal done that he was adjacent to, and you wound up with more than 3 resources, he could take one.
Yes. Which kind of made him, like, didn't make Skylar unlikable, but made, like the character persona that he was playing, made that unlikable.
Yes.
If he would have been to the left of me or the right of me, I would have came and smoked him, like, just to shut that down.
Yeah, it was, and there were, like, he was my neighbor for most of the game, and we wound up being cordial enough to where it was an optional thing where he could take it or not, and so often he would not take stuff from me when he could have.
Yeah.
You ready to start?
Yes.
The actual breakdown?
Yeah. Actually, before we get into it, as far as like where we started, I want your opinion on like the current situation of like how you found yourself, because I have a different opinion than you might have with your situation.
My starting setup?
Yeah.
So I obviously what you guys are seeing is one turn in where I've obviously taken the planet to my left, and Andrew has taken the planet straight in front of him. I was kind of indifferent about my setup. I don't know. I don't really have any strong... I think, looking at it, I think purple, black, and purple and black have a better setup.
Yeah.
Because they have 5 planets right next to them, and black has 6 planets, literally adjacent to their home system. And I have 4, and so that's me, Skylar, and you have 4, and Noah has 3. So I don't know how I feel about that exactly. I also don't know enough about this game to really like the nuances of setup. I think we used a preset setup.
Yeah.
And I know you can set up the board in a kind of a round robin. Everyone places one. And that just seems scary because we don't really know what we're doing yet.
Yeah. I feel like that could get very lopsided very quick.
Yes. But that's kind of my first impression. What was your first impression?
So my first impression of my starting zone, the planet that I start with was kind of overpowered, having, I think it was like a 4 and 1. So like 4 resources and 1 diplomacy.
Okay.
And of course, starting with all of these here was a big win to me. However, of course, I wanted to be cordial with you, so eventually I was like, hey, sharing is caring.
I think I wound up with, if I remember correctly, just a token on that planet for a long, long time. Like
You
just the
even
control.
ended up with one here.
I did have a control token there.
Yes. So I ended up giving up 2 of my planets actually, which I am happy I did that actually, because I do feel like that eventually played in you not coming and smoking me at the end.
Yes, I think that's
when I owned this. Because I feel like if I would have been aggressive to you, you might have been like, actually, since your war sons are gone.
That's true. You were busy. You were busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So you were happy with your starting setup.
Yes, especially because if I did want to fly in to get him, my character had the ability to pass through these.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and he's the only character that can.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's even any like technology or anything that can let you through. It's usually impassable where the Embers of Muat are like, yeah, we like this. This is our thing.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Turn 1 for me. I think maybe you went first.
Yes,
okay.
I went first, then you went next.
And then I went, and you just obviously took control of the planet right in front of you.
Yes.
I took control of the 2 planets to my left, brought my carrier and some cruisers in, put some people down. Not really much to say about that. The turtles are slow thematically, and so it is hard to spread out. We did kind of need to get out there and moving, which in hindsight I did not do super well.
Do you think if you could run it back, would you be more aggressive with how you were playing?
Yes, I think so.
I feel like you had the ability to like hunker down and essentially like take over people's stuff without battling. So I feel like if you could have gone gone through here and then started fighting with Skylar, or not even fighting with Skylar, just like throwing your presence in the way.
Right.
Could you have technically also have taken over Mechatol Rex with your diplomacy power?
I think it said not Mechatol Rex.
Okay.
I think it said Mechatol Rex, which is an important distinction. But yeah, so that was the first couple plays. Let's click through, unless you had anything to say.
Yeah, I definitely made some mistakes as far as
what was
my like spawning order of how I was trying to spread out. And
this is now a returning character on this podcast, and it's now empty already.
Oh.
So this is
sad day. Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
I could have probably played things a little bit different as far as like spawning up the troops and like making them like. I don't feel like in this whole game, I don't think I was using my moves as effectively as I could have. With like, you go into a spot that has the space harbor, the space station's like moving
space dock.
Yeah, like moving into a space dock to move your troops, and then also activating the space dock and spawning troops. I wish I would have done better with that type of stuff, and even just like the choice of like how many troops I left back here, because I had planned to like spawn up some ships, take them here, and keep moving. And I don't feel like I played that well.
What would you have done differently?
I literally would have left another troop. So yeah, I would have left one troop here because you can see I have 3. And for some reason, I had this in my mind that I had to leave troops on the planet, and then like after I made the move and it was too late like to retroactively fix it, I was like, oh no, I did need to take those troops. Like I should have kept one of them and taken both here,
Gotcha.
so I could have captured both at the same time.
Gotcha.
Because instead, I think I wasted a resource to spawn more troops.
Oh, okay.
Or spawn more soldiers. So, just things like that were kicking me. Ooh, we didn't get to talk about the book.
Yes, we didn't talk about the book. When do you want to? Because what do you want to talk about first, the book or the next couple turns?
Next couple turns.
Okay.
So.
And this is going to be a video where we pretty heavily click through because not a lot happens from say turn to turn, especially if you're not involved in it.
Okay, so yeah, as we're just gonna be pressing through, and so Skylar goes for his first movement.
Not too much. Oh, we have a nice camera angle change as well.
We do.
You can see the and if we haven't said so before, you can see the score track on the far left of the board.
Mm-hmm.
We're all at 0 points so far. We have 2 public objectives revealed, and no one's obviously qualified for anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
Skylar has gone. He's activated his system, and he's moved out the troops.
I would love to see his part of the breakdown. Honestly, with I don't see the point of that move unless he plans to spawn some troops or like spawn a transport.
Yes.
And take them with him.
Okay. Well, so you don't see why he left a troop there.
I don't see why he left all of this here. Actually, like unless like maximum carrier capacity.
I don't know what the carrier capacity is off the top of my head, and his might be different too. I think it might be 3.
Okay.
I think it might have been full, and I know his cruisers don't have capacity yet. So
okay.
That could be why, or also, like you said, he could be just preparing to move to the left.
Yeah.
And move those guys that way.
That's fair. Okay, so pressing on, then Alex goes for his move. Pretty aggressive straight out the rip, but like
he started with a destroyer. He started with a lot of troops and a lot of fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 transports
and a lot of strong planets, or a lot of planets present for him, like because I see this like 3 influence and 2 influence, and I'm like, wow, but like that would have been a big deal, but it eventually becomes not a big deal,
as you will see.
So then pressing through, we have had the movement from Noah. Not a fan of his people.
Why is that?
Like, I wasn't focused on like watching how he was playing or anything like that, because of course I was focused on trying to do my thing. However, so to get from here, he just had the portal, right? He just had to warp in.
He couldn't warp in from anywhere. He had to warp to there.
Oh, to here?
Yeah.
Okay. That stinks that he had to search so far away then.
But he gets +1 movement.
Yeah.
So it's essentially like he's starting in a home system like us.
That's fair. Yeah. Kind of feel bad because like he didn't really have like the best starting space, and I kind of stopped Chris from wanting to move in through here. So Chris kind of had to like push himself to make this happen.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd say like Noah's whole starting spot like was not good. And Alex had stood his ground and was like, "No, you can't come over here either." So he kind of got like pigeonholed to these handful of places.
That's true.
Because I think he spends a couple turns with just these 3 planets.
Yeah, he might very
so
well.
The fact of like how far he got into the game with just 3 planets honestly is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. So Chris, you see there, Chris has taken his move. He's taken the 2 planets to his right. Purple there at the top.
Yeah.
And we're back into. We can see what everyone took as well. I think the only things that weren't taken were the number 4 strategy card and the number 8. And so they get a resource. So yeah, let's go through number. We're looking up a rule. That happens a lot in Twilight.
It will happen a lot. There's a lot of finger wagging.
I think I did diplomacy there and dropped a control token on that closer planet, and so now I own that. And I probably took that card into.
How do you feel that play was? Was that worth it?
To do what?
To
diplomacy there.
To diplomacy there, and then do that.
I think so.
Okay.
I think I took diplomacy in the first round.
Yeah.
Maybe other rounds as well. just to make sure that it happened, because with a 6-player game, you're never sure that, I mean, you know 2 won't get picked. And so what I like about a 4-player game is that everyone picks 2 tiles. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
And so you go off of the initiative of the lower one.
Okay.
So let's say you get 1 and 2, your initiative would be the 1.
Okay.
And that way you know every single tile will be activated at a certain point in the round. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was fine.
Okay.
Diplomacy activation, and then a planet for free, essentially.
Okay. So
What was your second move, by the way?
I think spawning troops.
Okay.
Yeah, I spawned troops. You did your diplomacy.
And we're definitely going to miss stuff, so don't.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Scroll back.
Yeah. Did Alex do his turn first? Before...
Well, I'm more curious if Skylar... Oh, you know what Skylar did? Skylar did... You don't need to click back. I think what Skylar did was he pushed his troops 1 forward, right?
Yeah.
And then what is it, warrior or whatever, attack? He number 6'd.
Yeah, he warfared.
Warfared, thank you. Took the activation token off, and then in his next turn is going to push forward onto the orange planet.
Okay. And then Chris is just pushing out some troops as well.
Noah found himself very stuck
Yeah.
because he pretty much activated and brought everybody, and now I don't think can move anybody.
Yeah. Which I think Alex did a really good job as far as he activated like 2 different locations and sent out troops, you know?
Right.
Like I thought that was pretty cool.
Very efficient.
Yeah. Like he definitely did the best thing he could there. Okay. There's a lot of hand throws. All of us are very nonverbal people.
That is true.
You know, have to throw in the sponsored drink. Bubbly.
So what's your third move here? Let's find your...
I might have skipped. Actually, you know, I can tell you.
Which brings us to
To the book.
Talk about the book, Andrew.
Okay. So, as far as the book goes, this is my first time playing a board game and trying to actually like document like what I'm doing to help me be ready on my turn, because I don't think did we mention the 5-minute timer?
We did mention
Okay,
the
so the 5-minute timer really like put me on the spot, because I was like, I want to be prepared for when my turn comes around, because I don't want to be that guy that everyone has to wait on. And then also I felt like it helped me think ahead, as opposed to just like, oh, here I go. Like, I didn't want to be in that situation. So yeah, for turn 1, the War Sun moves with everyone. Except for 1 person, which I wish I would have done. Which would have left 2 people. And then second turn, I tactical action spawned 1 carrier and 1 set of ground troops. If I would have left that 1 troop, I would have had to spawn the 1 set of ground troops, and I could have probably spawned another ship or something.
Yeah.
And then, or I could have spawned some fighters to bring along. That probably would have been a really good play. And then third activation, or the third turn, I activated my number 1 card. So I leadershiped.
Which got you plenty of tokens.
Yes. And I was trying to stay like ahead of the curve with having as many tokens as I could. So that's kind of why like any opportunity I had to pull leadership, I did.
Very good.
Plus also I felt if I sat on leadership for a while, I might be able to like starve other people of the tokens.
Okay.
So
Cool. So we can see here round cleanup. Everyone puts back. Let's skip ahead a little bit. See where we're at.
So we're going around. Someone's already. He picked construction as his first.
Yep.
And yeah, someone already picked leadership. Then technology goes, and warfare's already gone. So yeah, everyone's picking their cards. And someone picks last. Cool. And it's crazy how, like, Imperial was always going to be, like, the last one until we hit Mechatol Rex.
That's true.
But then everyone starts stumbling over each other trying to get Imperial once Mechatol Rex is pulled.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. I'd say round one, round one really opened everybody up for, we were trying to pull as many planets as we could. Chris closed in because he wanted to create a deal with me so that we could do our promissory notes.
Yep.
And we eventually end up trading promissory notes of my War Son for one of his technology promissory notes. So I was able to not steal, but take one of or get the same technology as him because his ability was to like spawn technologies faster, which I think honestly saved me because I don't think I actually ever got a technology on my own.
Really?
Yeah. And I feel like it was kind of a waste for him going all the way out of his way to come give me that technology and save me, or I guess help me, because he didn't, I gave him the promissory note for the War Sons, and he got the technology, but I don't think he ever built a War Son. Or until the end.
He might have built a War Son at some point, but you're right, it wasn't very soon. So you can see here, Skylar is taking that planet. Are you sleepy?
Mildly.
Are you yawning? Audience engagement, Andrew.
Yes!
We see Skylar is pushing to the left, making sure he controls that border with Alex, and really doesn't take that planet for a long time.
Yeah.
He actually is making sure that he's adjacent to Chris and you, so that when he can scavenge as much as possible. And so he doesn't even take those planets, he just puts a bunch of cruisers there.
Yeah, and I didn't understand that play, honestly.
Because now he's adjacent to Chris, and so when Chris does a deal, he can scavenge a resource.
So I understand that portion. However, I'm meaning it wouldn't have hurt to bring the carrier.
He had no capacity.
Yeah. I mean, like logistically, all the way from the very beginning, if that was his play, he could have been like, okay, I'm going to get a carrier, we're going to get the troops, I'm going to fly in here, because I don't feel like he had to be in a hurry to come close that gap and start taking the trade goods from us. I feel like he could have settled out all of his planets and then close that gap and then play the long game.
Gotcha.
Because, like you said, for the next 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds, he doesn't put anyone on there.
Those planets. Okay.
So,
yeah, let's see what happens next. Okay, we have big cruisers, big speedy cruisers dropping in.
How did he get there?
I don't know.
Do they 2 over?
He 2 overs.
Okay. I didn't know that his cruiser could. Or I guess his carrier.
He might have also just had the technology too.
Yeah.
Where he gets the +1 boost, and this was fine with Skylar, yellow player. He was fine with it, and so those 2 planets get taken, and next person's turn.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that? Because he ends up only having 4 planets for a long time. But I feel like Alex successfully kind of crippled him. there, you know?
I agree. I think this also plays into what the objectives are, which you can speak to because you've taken pictures of all of them.
Yes.
So what were our first two objectives?
First two objectives.
With a game this big, and set up over the whole table, it's sometimes easier to just have someone take a picture of what the objectives are.
Yeah.
So what are our two? What are our first three actually at this point?
So your first three were control 3 planets that have technology specialties, and then control 6 planets in non-home systems,
Oh, yeah, that was yep.
and then spend 8 influence on this card.
So I think the deal was, and I don't know why Skylar agreed to it necessarily, but yeah, it would make it so that Alex the black color could have his 6 colonies.
However, he could have easily just taken these 2.
He could have. Yeah, so I don't know.
So I really do feel like it was a pushed power play to shut an ally down.
Sure. I just move in some troops, carrier, take over the next system, and that was my whole turn.
Yep.
I pretty much keep my fleet size at 3 the whole game. It doesn't really ever change. Looks like you pushed forward War Sun onto the planet adjacent to Mechatol
Yes.
Rex.
To try to... That was me trying to play that threat. Play the threat of like, oh, he's going to go to Mechatol Rex. And
then it was the push to get 6 influence to
yes.
be able to settle it.
Yeah. And my hope really was that like someone else would take Mechatol Rex and then I'd be the hero that came in to stop him. However, I guess it ended up working out that I wasn't the bad guy because I kept being like, I'm not sitting here.
Yeah. All right. So let's skip forward. Let's go. We're at 115. Let's go by tens because not a ton's happened in the middle of this.
So Skylar just settled, or someone probably just did the construction card and he just popped out his
Space dock.
His space dock. And then I was trying to push for some space docks because I had a secret objective for 3 space docks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you can see the black player is now has control of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 planets.
Yes.
Which is pretty crazy.
So I really do respect that, like, he pushed here, took these, and then he filled in the gap.
Yeah, no, that was good.
So, gonna skip ahead. And then, Noah was still, like, not spread out well. But,
I was very afraid that he was going to come through and hit the...
hit here?
Yes. Which he could have done at this point. The PDS, the space cannons were...
Not ready?
Would have helped.
Okay.
But I don't think they could have shot one system away. So that would have been not great if he would have came through there.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's keep going.
It looks like we took our time at this point.
Yes.
Like we do a lot. Yeah. It looks like nothing's changed.
But that's okay. Oh, what are you about to do? Oh, you're about to activate Mechatol Rex. But
joke's on me.
But then you don't have the influence for it. We had to tell you, sadly. Not because you have to spend the 6 influence to get that token, which gets you a point. But that was not in the cards for you at that point.
Mm-hmm. I will say I did want Mechatol Rex activated so that we could get our
agenda phase.
The agenda phase started.
Yes.
So yeah, the debate, or I guess it wasn't even really a debate. It was like the sadness of I can't take Mechatol Rex yet, which I might end up waiting until,
because Alex has some tech and a flagship and a bunch of stuff at this point. He is going through the hazard,
which is crazy because he spread out. Like the way he played, which I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the video to figure out how he did what he did, because like the way he played is exactly how I wanted to play, and yeah, he's aggressive.
He's very aggressive. He at this point has Noah has spread out into those into the system adjacent to his homeworld, but they're pretty much cool with it. And Alex is about to take the Mechatol Rex. Chris has activated Mechatol Rex and just left a fighter on it.
Yes, because he had a secret ability that gave him like 4 trade goods if you destroyed one of his ships,
which he's taken advantage of a couple times. Or he takes advantage of a couple times throughout the game, if I remember.
At this point, he has so many ships that, like, I wish I would have played that retreat card. I don't know I didn't play the retreat card, because we do go into combat.
Yeah, let's get there. You're in there.
So I went in there, destroyed his ship for him.
You're not the savior we needed. You're the savior we deserved. You settled Mechatol Rex.
Yes. So agenda phase is opened.
Boots on the ground, and now it's a play for Alex to come back and invade it.
Yes. Which.
And it looks like Skylar has produced, and Skylar has beefed up those forces on the edge there.
Yes.
I have a flagship at this point, which is actually also a really effective space cannon, as we'll see later on in the game.
A handful of times.
My favorite moment of the game. There was some friendly fire, but it worked out. And Alex actually stole a card from you, which could have been your retreat card.
Yes.
It wound up not being your retreat card.
But I still didn't use it anyways.
Yeah, so let's get to that battle, and then we'll see why you didn't do that.
Yeah, ships still just chilling there. Oh, we might have to go into the next video. Oh no!
Oh no! I guess we'll never know. No, we'll know.
I guess as we wait, talking about the book, I think the book was a huge game changer as far as actually knowing what I was going to do.
Yes.
I will say it kept me extremely engaged in the game and made sure that I was completely and utterly like listening and focusing and thinking about like what is next for me. I think we had 1 round left and I was mentally exhausted. Didn't touch the book again. So
it was big. It was, yeah, definitely. Let's switch to the next video.
Okay.
We streamed 2 3.5-hour videos, and so this is the end of the first one, and we'll just get to the second one. And here we have
Mechatol Rex has been taken.
What happened, Andrew?
And you can
I think
see
you did retreat. Or did you just die?
I died.
I think you might have... Oh, you just died.
Yeah, I should have retreated. I got really lucky that he didn't press in on me.
Well, I don't think he could have. Just because of the... Like, he had the system activated, so... I don't know what he would have done.
I mean, like, before I respawned up troops.
Oh, sure.
Like, because at this point, I'm, like, the weakest that I've been. Like, of course, like, I rushed to spawn another War Sun. I started this whole army, but it's going to take, like, two whole rounds before I actually make it back in.
Right. So we have some battle here with Skylar and really at this point we're a couple rounds into the game. We'll do a score update. Mm-hmm. Alex is at 6 points, and that's where he becomes the actual threat. I think he actually has Imperial at this point.
Yes.
So we know he's going to get another point. And so that Skylar is like, okay, we need to stop.
Yes.
We need to stop Alex. He pretty quickly just takes over that system.
Which Alex totally overextended himself to try to take me out in Mechatol Rex. And I think that's what led to this whole situation. like because he had pulled all of his troops up to the front line,
That's true.
and then which I was afraid that since I lost this battle here and did not retreat, I was afraid that I was gonna get jumped in here because honestly, like y'all could have like came and crippled me for the rest of the game, like especially with this. Like I was expecting like Space Cannon warship fly in and come take me, and got really lucky that you didn't. So
yeah, Skylar's taken that critical system, blocking Alex's retreat home, and then Noah is still spreading out very well in that area.
Which I would have loved to see Noah come take this.
That would have been good.
Like, that was kind of like one of my hopes was like, oh, homeboy's at 6 points. Everyone turn on him. Like we all did Chris, the last game we played.
Yeah.
Jumping in by 10 minutes. So he immediately, so he being Alex, he ends up just spamming troops.
Yes.
Hoping that he can like hold the location. Which was that his capital?
No. His capital ship is on Mechatolrex right now.
Okay. No. His
that is his
capital
home
planet.
System, yes.
Okay, home system. Yeah. So he definitely used his ODST power to try to like
drop people as soon as possible. Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, because the cool thing about like how this game goes with like bombardment and stuff, if you're not prepared for bombardment, you're going to have to waste a handful of rounds just to try to.
Right, you can have the air, but you haven't controlled the. You can have the space, but you haven't controlled the planet yet.
And you literally have to wait until the next round to be able to try to bombard them again.
Yep, because you've already activated the system, and unless you have war. Why am I blanking on that?
Warfare.
Yes. All right, let's keep it going. You got to get these people out of here in under an hour, Andrew. We're at 42 minutes. We're talking about a 9-hour game.
So, his ally. That's why he didn't come take the system, because Noah and Alex were allies, which I think it really put the pressure on when Chris came in to try to come be on that asteroid. I can't remember who ends up taking Alex off the.
Well, we will see.
Yeah.
I can't believe we lost the actual battle between you and Alex. But if I remember correctly, it was a pretty abysmal showing of force.
Yes.
Abysmal.
So yeah, everyone's really still like coming in.
Noah did come over.
Yeah, he came for the press, which then probably made Skylar panic a bit, because of course here he is. So, what do you think of that play? Like him coming over and into there.
I think he had to do it because you can't really see, but two of the agendas that we've passed so far have been the warp gates don't work. Wormholes don't work for anyone but Noah, which was huge.
Yep.
Especially for me because I needed those warp gates. And then the second agenda was no influence does not count on voting. And so two really critical parts of the game get changed, and so that allows Noah to kind of do what no one else on the table can do.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
I think that was really smart for him to take advantage of that.
And I had forgotten, I accidentally made a threat to him. He had to be next to, he had to control like 3 systems next to anomalies, and he wanted to go over to this B, but I threatened that I would kill his ships.
He did not like that.
Yeah, which in reality that didn't actually matter, because like I wouldn't have actually done that. It would have wasted me a turn. He still would have gotten the anomaly. So yeah. And
a score update, we are, I don't know, several rounds. Well, I can tell you how many rounds in. First round, second round, third round, fourth round. We're fourth round in. Alex is still at 6 points. I think you and Noah are at 4 points.
Yes.
Chris is at 1 point or 2 points, And Skylar and I are at 0 points still. And so Skylar and I are trying to find ways to
make that happen.
To get points.
Which Skylar immediately runs up to 2.
Yes. So Alex is still on Mechatol Rex. He hasn't scored any more points for it. And Noah has not moved the troops out yet. Chris has not taken Mechatol Rex. Skylar's not taking Mechatol Rex. Who will be our savior? Who will do it?
It's crazy how, like, we did make it to this point pretty quickly.
We really did.
And I think it was really good on Skylar taking the initiative and attacking Alex when he did, because he might have won, like, immediately.
Alex might have won immediately. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, if he didn't extend the conflict. So...
Let's find it.
Skylar's still moving.
I need to see it. Oh, it was you. It was you. It was definitely going to be you that takes it back. Okay, so let's see this battle. Because I don't know if we can actually... We'll roll through the battle. But
Well, so Skylar ends up going in and annihilating...
that's true.
Yeah, his system. Which by holding that was extremely crippling for Alex. Because now he couldn't score public objectives, right?
That's correct, yes.
And I don't know if we ended up deciding if he could vote or not.
I don't think he can vote. Was that a discussion?
Yeah, because I think he still voted.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. That's crazy how, like, essentially in one round, everything that he built started to fall apart.
Yes.
Because... Yeah, everyone surrounded him at Mechatol Rex.
And you'll note, and I will say, so I have a PDS on that FAR system, the one in your area,
right
kind of.
Yes.
And I am doing nothing.
Yes.
I am literally on these 2, 4, 5 systems.
Mm-hmm.
I have 0 points. People are at 6, going to score 7, 8 here pretty soon, and I just didn't get the machine going. I didn't make an aggressive play, and this is where the chance to go through a wormhole to a wormhole there would have been huge, but I wasn't even aggressive enough to go into Skylar's undefended system or your undefended system, and I wasn't able to generate the points.
That would have been a huge play. If the wormholes had still worked, you would have literally just wormholed from here with the entire army, and no one would want to press you because you have the PDSs, and you would have just wormholed over, and then you were just taking all of Noah's stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't anticipating how big that would be late game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see there. Noah is able to drop wormholes on the board.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. At one point he drops it in that empty system next to us. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think he ever comes through there, but a really interesting dynamic of where they can pop up. All right, so I think we're about to roll through it. Maybe not. Let's go. We still haven't fought for it.
He's still ODST dropping troops.
Yep. Oh, now we're fighting. So this is where battle lines have been drawn.
Yeah.
And we're rolling dice. You go into full D&D mode and pretty much demolish all of his stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of not fair rolling against me sometimes. Because, like when it comes to dice rolling, it's kind of the thing. So... Yeah. But honestly, though, in our first battle, he kind of, like, obliterated me. Like, I came unprepared and just hoped that, like, a war son and a handful of ships would be able to handle his fleet.
Right.
So, this time I was not willing to lose the battle. So, it came in and, Yeah, I think I just keep on just rolling extremely high on him, and like ship by ship keeps falling, and he's kind of panicking. And then they're all gone.
And then they're all gone. All of those. You must have a pretty substantial fleet size. I guess 4 isn't that big, but it's a lot bigger than 3.
Yeah.
Especially with 2 war sons. All the troops, all the people.
And then the war sons can hold like 6 troops per.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Do you remember if you could take the planet as well?
I don't think it did.
You just take the air at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think because I tried to bombard him, but I don't think I got everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because he ends up killing. See.
He's got people on the ground still. And so now points update, very critical. We are at, I think Alex is at 8.
Mm-hmm.
You and Noah, I think, are at 7. Chris is at 6, and Yellow is at 4, and I'm at 2. I think I scored something.
Mm-hmm. And every single agenda phase, if it was like a planet that helped people, we always tried to give it to Richie. Yeah.
Which is one of the better things about being in like dead last is it makes those kind of decisions easier.
Yeah.
But it's not super encouraging.
I think we made a great decision not giving it to Chris, because Chris kept being like, "Yeah, like
to me."
Yeah. So the explanation behind that, one of the agenda phases was essentially give a planet a point, and whoever controls that planet gets that point.
You got that planet.
I did get that planet, and it was a big deal. And so we tried to give it had to be like a cultural planet.
It had to be something. I think a hazardous. It had to be some sort of planet I didn't have.
Yes.
That was the thing.
And because immediately, like the second we said like point for our planet, we were like, boom, Richie. And then Richie doesn't have that type of planet, so then Chris was like, I can take it. Like this would be really great. And he kept trying to say like I already have all the technology, so like I don't need that planet. Let's just put it there. Totally trying to like trick us into that.
All right.
Yeah.
So
poor Alex.
Poor Alex. He is in a rough spot, but he's also at 8 points.
Yeah.
So it's hard to feel too bad.
And we're at the point of the agenda card. No, the public objectives that are 2 points open up.
And remind us what the last 2-point objective is. Because we'll click through.
So own 2 technologies in each of the 4 colors.
Okay.
And spend 16 trade goods on this one. And then there's also own 2 technologies in each of the 2 sectors. And then, yeah.
So 16 trade goods.
Really ends up being one of the...
Not 16 resources.
Yeah, 16 trade goods.
Interesting.
Or no, it might have been resources. Because... Hold on. That's the problem. It's covered.
Oh. I think it does say trade goods. Or it could be say resources.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, because if it's 16 trade goods, then I wouldn't... the result would be different.
The result would be different. I think it was
resources?
I think it must have been resources.
It had to be
I don't
resources.
Well,
because there's 3 people on it already, so like I can't imagine everyone had done.
I think I spent through 16 resources. I think I had done it. Yeah.
Resources or trade goods?
Resources.
Oh, wow.
So that was my first 2 points that I got. So that was where we're at. We're pretty close now to the end.
Mm-hmm.
The first person to score, you can see Alex getting dragged back a point.
Mm-hmm.
And you up a point.
Yes.
And you're now at 8.
And I gained a point by winning combat against
the person with the most.
The person with the most points.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a lot of things. I was like, let's make this happen. So, So I'm at 2 points, and now I have the resources for the 16.
Yes.
And at this point, I just shut up and color, and I'm trying not to play my hand. And like dyslexia got in the way for me, and I like counted my resources like 3 times to make sure I was right.
To the point where I ask him, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And you do tell me, in fairness.
Yeah.
So you didn't completely shut up in color.
Yeah.
You shut up and told me you were going to win.
Yeah. Which he could have driven in. Did you have the movement to drive in and take this, or?
Not in 1 turn.
Okay.
But in 2 I could have. So it would have been difficult still.
Yeah.
But with. Yeah, it would have been difficult.
So.
Because really, what is cool about if you move my flagship here, and then just activated that system, you would have been able to shoot all of the PDS, the 1 PDS and the 3 ship PDS at that system. So would have been an interesting play. Right now, where we're at is Chris is, and I don't even think we're at that point yet because we have about an hour left, and
It's crazy how it completely slowed down.
I think it has to. I think it's so every move is so much more critical.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how Alex was almost off the board.
Yeah.
That's insane.
With
still 4 planets. He still owns this planet. I think he might own. It's hard to tell him and Noah apart. I think Alex owns this planet and Noah owns this planet.
Yeah.
And then Alex planet, Alex planet, Alex planet, Alex planet.
Yeah.
Even though Skylar is completely all over it. And Chris has Mechatol Rex right now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, most aggressive move of the game, moved into this, which I wish I would have been able to obviously wormhole, but I was not. But it makes for a very fun shot that my flagship gets to take.
Mm-hmm. Which you've already shot down 2 of my ships with your flagship, I think.
Now with my flagship,
with the PDS. Yeah.
The PDS can shoot across systems, and so whenever Andrew would move in this area, I would just roll one. Mm-hmm. One, I'd call it a training exercise.
Yes. Some shots miss, some shots hit.
At this point, it's kind of all right, I'm at 2 points. Someone's about to win the game.
You had a secret objective where you had to shoot down the last ship?
I had a secret objective where I had to shoot down destroy the last ship in a system with a PDS. And so that is now my life goal in the game. Noah is very strong here, and people are getting scared that he's about to pull out a 3-point turn. The scores really haven't changed much yet. And then
who is that one up there?
that is Alex again.
Okay.
Because he was still able to be scoring points somehow.
Yeah.
I think that might have been a secret objective he revealed.
And so now it's me and Noah that are at 8 points.
Yep.
And I think at this point,
Chris
counts up Noah's points or Noah's resources and was like, "Oh no, guys, he's gonna win.
We need to kill." And I think you might be seeing Chris literally taking over Noah's planets right here.
Yeah.
To keep him from spending the 16 resources needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then in addition to that, Noah attacks Skylar, and Skylar has this card where it can exhaust one of Noah's planets, which ultimately made him not able to spend the 16 resources.
Yeah.
All the while, these War Sun people over here are very nervous.
Yeah. As I'm seeing everyone throw their troops to take the planets and stuff, at that point I'm like, retreat. You'll eventually see I go backwards to try to make sure, because this planet doesn't really matter as far as the resource goes.
Right.
So you see me retreat back, and under the skies of the guise of allowing Chris to have Mechatol Rex.
Ah, yes.
And Yeah, that was a power play of negotiation because like he was very close, or he's at 6 points, right?
Yes.
So.
Oh, you see me shooting at your ships there.
Yeah.
I shot a fighter. It was one of your weaker fighters.
You had to call the team a bit, you know?
I did. I'm excited to see. I think Alex moves a freighter into here, and I'm excited to see when that gets shot down.
Mm-hmm.
Because now Chris has taken as many planets of Noah's as he can.
Yep. And Noah said he wanted to use his portal to drive in and take that one planet from me.
Yep.
But at this point, I think I've secured, like, no one's going to take the planets from me. The only person that could have really contested me was you at that one point.
Yeah. And then you see Alex's freighter in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get very excited. And I forget if I activate that system or I just shoot at it. I forget how it happens.
Which this is his...
He has a secret.
This is his far throw. His Hail Mary, he called it.
Yes.
He said, this is my only chance to try to win the game.
Yes.
And
Richie I shot it. How did I do it? I just rolled some dice. It was like I rolled 3 dice and they hit on a 5 plus. So it was pretty much gonna. And you can see me revealing my little secret objective, putting me at 3 points. And then the other shoe drops because everyone's about to pass. Noah has been well and truly not able to score any points. And then the other cool thing that this game does is you score in initiative order. And so if you were both about to score 2 points, I think he had the lower initiative.
He did.
So I think he had the 5 and you had the 6.
So he had me beat.
He had you, he would have been able to get to 10 first. I think instead he scores the 1 point objective, and which leaves the War Sun clan to close the gap and get to 10 points.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
After all the shouting died down, we're all still friends. Let's...
Oh, I think you oh dear. I
think I literally...
You turned the sound back on.
We need to clip that. We need to get that clip of audio.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. Yeah. We're gonna rewind that because.
Oh. That's hilarious. So yeah, the 10 drops, and then like a handful of seconds later,
someone screams.
Yeah.
I think you can clip anyway. I want to see this.
Okay.
Noah scores his 1 point, and then you spend your 16 resources. After even a 9-hour game, it feels good to. I don't know. It feels good to. It was a good experience.
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm extremely happy because I did win. But yeah, it's just like the overall like, and of course it was the first test run of using a book.
I just love that we're hearing it through the headphones. Anyway, all right, we're gonna bring ourselves back full screen and just do a final thoughts.
Okay. So we're gonna.
Look at us.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
We missed you. So
we're not either. About left and right. Oh, there we go. Oh, now we're even.
Oh, we're in the same.
So
this has been a week. I've changed clothes.
Yeah, that's funny. What are your closing thoughts, takeaways?
Oh man, the book. Yeah, writing it down was such a game changer for me.
Okay.
Because like, I feel like I made some really effective plays, and
Well, that looks really good.
yeah, it does. Yeah, I feel like I made some really effective plays, and it even helped me be prepared for like when the cards were being selected. I would then choose like which card was my best chance. So I'd be like, I want warfare, but if I can't get warfare, then I want leadership or technology.
Gotcha.
So like, even that gave me the chance to like put pen to paper and think about like, what are you going to do next, and so. Or like the people that I'm playing against. So I was able to like actually take a chance to think ahead, because I have a hard time just trying to plan in my head. So
the notebook helped.
yeah, notebook was a big deal. Embers and Muat, good play. I enjoyed it.
You're a fan?
Yeah, you can't hate against having War Sons. You really
That's
can't.
True. I would love to play the Turtles again. I think that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm excited for it. We've scheduled maybe one game like 2 months from now. I think
Yes.
we're our next TI
Something
game.
like that.
So we're gonna bring this to you again. Hopefully, let us know your thoughts, what you'd like to see. We'll let you know when we're streaming it on Twitch if you want to watch with us.
Yep.
Or if you just want to watch the battle breakdown of it.
Mm-hmm. If you could run it back, what would you change, or would you not allowing the portals to be closed?
I don't think allowing the portals to be closed and just picking a side to go against, like either making war with you or making war with Alex or Skylar.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can be friends with both people.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need
Yeah.
to. I think you need to pick one way to expand, and you don't necessarily need to go push to Mechatol Rex, but you need to push somewhere.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway. But really fun, really fun. We'll next time we'll get the trophy that Alex 3D printed us a trophy, a traveling trophy, which is going to be really fun. And yeah, this has been Electric City Plays. We are going to continue to break down a probably bi-weekly game that we play.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be a 9-hour game. Do you have any idea what this next upcoming game is that we're going to break down? If you could pick, what would you want to? What would you want to break down next?
It'd be cool if we got to sit down and play the new game that we got, Noah.
We got Noah Beyond the Sun.
Beyond the Sun.
And so
It'd be cool to see
we're gonna
like
get some plays of that.
4-player Beyond the Sun.
That would be really fun. No promises, but that is the plan so far. This has been Electric City Plays. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys again soon.